In today's movie, Italian men pretending to be Florida men battle a giant squid pretending to be a killer shark. That totally makes sense. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka the Horror Geek, and today we're tackling Lamberto Bava's weird sea monster movie, Devilfish. Released in 1984, Devilfish is a who's who of Italian horror talent, which makes it all the more confusing as to why this film is such a disaster. Ostensibly marketed as another Jaws ripoff, Devilfish struggles to live up to expectations, giving us pointless characters, countless meandering subplots, and just about everything aside from the titular creature. The result is another so bad it's good film, mostly because it's one of 4 films Michael Sopkiw made before leaving acting. But can Devilfish eat enough actors to earn a 5 barf bag rating? Let's get to the gore and find out. Oh, and before we get started, today's movie is brought to you by patrons David Baines, Angela Hinkson, and Jason Corbin. If you'd like to help sponsor some videos, you'll find links to my Patreon in the pinned comment and description below. And now, let's get bloody. We fade in on these credits. It's astonishing it took this many different companies to make a movie as terrible as Devilfish. Monster Shark? Wait a minute, I thought this was called Devilfish. I mean, neither title is great, but they're better than Satan Salmon or Beelzebass, I guess. I wonder if Monster Shark was an attempt to tie into Claudio Fragaso's Monster Dog cinematic universe. At any rate, things are looking up. We've got Michael Sopkiw back on the show. We last saw him in Massacre in Dinosaur Valley. The credits roll on, and that's the most interesting spelling of Cynthia I've ever seen. Did anyone proofread these credits? And story by Sergio Martino and Luigi Cozzi, both trying to pretend they're Americans. Whoa, it took 3 guys to come up with the story and another 4 guys, including Italian horror scriptwriting bot Dardano Sacchetti, to turn it into a script? The Godfather had fewer writers than this. Directed by John Old Jr., aka Lamberto Bava. John Old Jr. is basically an adult name a 5-year-old would make up. With the credits over, we jump into the movie proper. Tonight on a very special episode of Baywatch, the Hoff flies in to perform Looking for Freedom. I can't tell if we just wandered into the opening shots of Cannibal Holocaust or Lamberto Bava's low-budget Star Wars knockoff here.
1421 here, 1421. We're over the area, there's no sign of anything yet.
Eventually, they find the wreckage, and this guy floating on the surface. We don't know who this victim is, but judging by his condition here, I think it's safe to assume his name was Bob. And jump cut to dolphins. Did we just transition into Cruel Jaws? Whoa, it's like someone put Clancy Brown in a wig and lipstick. Then it's showtime.
May I shake your hand? Nice to know you.
These guys are impressed. Yeah, that was fantastic. Don't get comfortable because we're on the move again. Bob is out here wrangling this shark. It's pretty athletic. Just look at its agility. Then it's Miller time. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women. With booze in hand, he decides to relax by listening to the Far Side's track of The Fish. Oh yeah, this is my jam right here. Back at the park, look out. It's 3 dolphins. I guarantee you they're starting a podcast. Then she winds up swimming with the fishes, except these are dolphins and they're technically mammals, so don't well actually me in the comments. I don't know, this is a weird way to get ready for a wet t-shirt contest. We're moving again. In this scene, Carlito's Way era, Sean Penn is performing an autopsy. This was no boating accident. Whoa, look out. Cortez has already got his guns drawn. I'm just gonna stand back here and flex inconspicuously. That right there is a dude who has definitely curled in the squat rack. Cortez has had enough. Well, if we put this down as a boating accident, we can call it a day and hit the gym. But before they can snag a bench, they have to stop and chat with dead guy's mom.
Martha, leave things as is. Don't try to see him. Remember him as he was, huh?
Yeah, remember him as he was, in one piece, with all his appendages attached. Hope you're not comfy, because we're on the move again. Sopkiw.
You call this working?
Yeah, I'm streaming to 14 viewers on Twitch. I'm an influencer, boomer. Also, I don't know why they didn't let Sopkiw dub his own voice. Unfazed, he's gonna give us his version of Linus Tech Tips. I'd totally sub to this channel. Outside, some of our movies are meeting up. Turns out she's just dropping off the script. Yeah, 3 story credits and 4 screenwriters, and the whole script of Devilfish fits on a folded sheet of paper. Then we get a live look at downtown Tokyo before Godzilla arrives. Over in the lab, Budget Patrick Duffy is finally using the soda stream he bought off that infomercial at 2 a.m. He's saving $8 a day making his own Pepsi. Then it's time for some sexting.
I love you, Davis.
Christ, look at these special effects. That's clearly not on the screen. This early version of Hal is pretty sweet, though. And over in another movie, this woman's calling Lamberto Bava. Yeah, Lamberto? This movie's called Devilfish, and we haven't seen a fish since the shark on the boat. Can we maybe move this along? Later that night, her evening is interrupted when she's visited by Budget Dexter. Life as an Alaskan lumberjack has been hard on him. He's like, we haven't had any devilfish in this movie, but you could say I'm devilfishly handsome. Then he grabs her. Look, I just need to work on my neck adjustment technique for chiropractor college. Hold still, you're gonna feel great. See? Now let's get you in a nice relaxing bath. It's like spa day. Oh, don't forget to dry your hair. And some panties for my collection. Everything's coming up Millhouse tonight. Back at Sopkiw's place, MKBHD breaks in to trash the Linus Tech Tips set. Then we get a little something for the fellas and the ladies. Some sweet Sopkiw foo. And then it's time to jump to another movie. These guys are out here doing a little motorboating.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. They're in a motorboat. And nearly 22 minutes into the film, Devilfish finally decides to get into the water. This guy's down here seeking kelp for his seaweed addiction, but he's being stalked by the ocean's fiercest predator, the stock-footed shark. And like a moron, Jacques Clouseau panics and drops the spear gun. Good job, genius. But the shark is the least of his worries because here comes the Devilfish. You could say these guys are real chums at this point. Back on land, the cops are investigating the young woman's murder. Well, she did mention her hairdryer had it in for her, but we thought she was crazy. And because this movie didn't have enough random characters, here's another. This kid finds one of the boaters from earlier. People always say a boat ends up costing you an arm and a leg, and it turns out it's true. This dude's the literal embodiment of life's a beach and then you die. Oh wait, he isn't dead. They're treating him at the hospital. We got this trend from Deputy Peck Chest Swell. Your arm will grow back in no time. And the cops are on the case.
Come on, let's go get something to eat.
Oh, it's not a land shark. Maybe try the water. Sopkiw and company head out to sea. And the good news is the boat is equipped with a Nintendo. The bad news is the only game they have is the crappy LJN Jaws cartridge.
What's that?
I'm not sure.
I gotta say, these graphics are underwhelming. Looks like someone sneezed on the screen. Fun fact, that radar was built to track only devilfish. Everyone called him crazy for buying one, but who's laughing now? Sopkiw is like, well, this is boring. I guess I might as well spit a few bars for my demo. I'm calling it Fin and Juice. I don't want to alarm anyone, but I think Stella has only one facial expression. This could be irritated, bemused, or maybe even excited. Then Sopkiw gives us his best Busta Rhymes impression. Heal up, wheel up, bring it back home, rewind. Man, my Busta Rhymes impression sucks. Back at the hospital, things have taken a turn for the worse.
4 milligrams of adrenaline, quick! Come on.
Are you supposed to use the jumper cables on him when he's not flatlined? This is a malpractice suit waiting to happen.
He's dead. His heart just gave out.
At least there's no need to do an autopsy. The sheriff has determined the cause of death.
Fear stopped his heart.
Sopkiw and Stella head over to the Institute, where the boss serves them dinner. Can I offer you a slice? It's DiGiorno. Back out on the water, the Devilfish is about to attack this boat, while ripping off the Jaws theme. If this boat's a rockin', it's because the Devilfish is attacking. Swim for your lives! Wait a minute, those are tentacles. I have an inkling this might not be a shark. And since that was almost exciting, let's switch gears and head back to the museum where this lady's showing us her vacation slides. Then she drops some exposition.
I think I can safely say that the creature found in your part of the ocean is a living fossil.
The sheriff is nonplussed. Look, lady, can I arrest it or not? Back out on the water, Sopkiw's like, boy, are these things heavy. After more jibber-jabber, we come to this scene.
I hope so. The dose would put a whale to sleep. But who knows if it'll work on a creature millions of years old.
Pop quiz hotshots. Who has more range in this scene? Stella, Dr. Bates, or that rifle? Oh, it's one of those blue movies. I'll go get the hand lotion.
The dose would put a whale to sleep.
Well, yeah, the dose could put it to sleep, or they could just show a devilfish. Same result either way. Back inside the cabin, things get really bad. Damn it, the Wi-Fi is out again. Cycle the router. Out on the water, there's a problem with buoy number 4.
Looks like it's been sabotaged.
I knew it. The Beastie Boys were here. And somehow this eventually leads to sex on the beach. The real kind, not the drink. Out on the boat, Bob's like, damn it, we pay all this money for DirecTV and all I can get is Animal Planet. With Squidward right under the boat, Bob grabs the gun. Be very quiet. I'm hunting rascally made-up sea creatures. Squidward is way too wily, though, and grabs Bob and bludgeons him. It's like snap, cracking, and pop in here. It snags Dr. Bates, too, but she picks up this hatchet and makes him recon-squidder. Man, she's really beating that fish off.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. I mean, she's beating him with the hatchet. He's had enough and is like, I squid you farewell. I had to be honest, I didn't think I could fire off that many puns, but I was wrong. Sopkiw and Stella make it back after their afternoon delight, and they walk right into this jump scare. Man, she's a real whack job. Back at the lab, Sopkiw, Patrick Duffy, Budget Hugh Hefner, and the sheriff hatch a plan.
I've recorded its voice and can reproduce it with only slight modulations. Close enough to make it think that the sounds are one of its own species.
We pull this off, we'll be eating calamari for weeks. Unfortunately, the sheriff's heard enough of this nonsense.
And thanks to your science, we've lost precious time.
Yeah, damn your science. Then we jump into this scene, which feels like a music video montage from an unaired episode of Miami Vice. You kids even remember Miami Vice? Christ, I'm old. Back out on the water, the Wi-Fi is still down. Are you cycling it, Stella? Did you unplug it? They probably just have Comcast. Back on shore, this is happening. Christ, are they gonna kill a fish or are they trying to invade Cuba? Honestly, with all the Coast Guard shots, I'm starting to wonder if they sponsored Devilfish as a recruitment tool. Join the Coast Guard and fight giant squid monsters and invade Cuba. Bava's direction in this scene was pretty exciting. You are bored, you have nothing to do, and you walk off camera. And over here, Budget Hugh Hefner is doing some science things. Yeah, bitch, science. Oh man, Premiere screwed up my footage again. Over in our other movie, Sopkiw and Stella are underwater, but then Dexter shows up to kill Dr. Bates. But before he does the deed, he gives her a heaping help and a pimp hand. Then we come to Devilfish's thrilling slow-motion underwater knife fight scene. Any way you slice it, this is terrible. Back on the ship, Dexter blasts Dr. Bates. And takes Stella hostage.
Hey, you.
She's all tied up, but Sopkiw is here to save the day. Man, they're in like 4 feet of water. And because one boring underwater fight scene wasn't enough, here's another. While they're distracted, here comes the Devilfish. He's got Dexter and Stella. And say what you will, but this thing is really well armed. They escape, but things look bleak for Dexter as he winds up in the monster's mouth. I think. I mean, it's hard to tell. Back on the boat, we get this masterclass in acting.
What's going on?
I don't know.
I've seen Forrest less wooden than Stella. And over on the road, the sheriff is driving.
Yeah, Gordon speaking.
Did he just answer the CB like it's a telephone? And is this like a Batman prequel? Sheriff Gordon one day became Commissioner Gordon. Turns out it's just Budget Hugh Hefner calling in to deliver some exposition.
I have here before me cells we've taken from the tentacle. They're reproducing at an incredible rate.
This sends the sheriff into action. Biggs and Wedge fly him out here to blow up the Death Star. Or maybe he's gonna shoot John McClane off the roof of Nakatomi Tower. Woo! Just like Saigon, eh, Slick? I was in junior high, dickhead. I'm not gonna waste a lot of time on the subplot about who is responsible for the Devilfish because really, who cares? But if you're wondering, it's Patrick Duffy.
Project originator, Dr. Davis.
Damn it, he locked me out of the Office P-Hub account again. Then Duffy makes his move. I'm gonna explain my master plan, step by step. I will say I admire the decision to shoot this scene in a library. We can deliver exposition and return our overdue books. This gigantic exposition dump is interrupted when the sheriff shows up.
Don't move, Davis.
Thank God, I thought they'd never stop talking. Then Patrick Duffy takes one to the chest. Tell Suzanne Summers I love her. And the award for most overacted death scene at Devilfish goes to Patrick Duffy, ladies and gentlemen. But if you thought that acting was bad, Stella's like, hold my beer.
Well, of course, Peter can do it with the tape recorder. We've tried it and it worked.
Back out on the water, they're trying to lure the Devilfish to the surface by setting the mood with some Barry White. Why does this chopper smell like Mitchell? This really is riveting. When the shark and Jaws wouldn't work, Spielberg used the barrels. When they couldn't afford a Devilfish in Devilfish, they used this white blob from an Atari 2600 game instead. Jesus, look at this thing. It looks like a dollar store version of a Sentinel from The Matrix. Then this happens.
Peter! The thing's on top of you!
Well, technically, it's underneath him, Stella, but you tried, so points for that. Sopkiw has to make a break for it and somehow manages to outswim the monster that can move at 30 knots. It's hilarious that the monster in this movie is so terrible they can't even show it in anything other than extreme close-up. Later that night, they're still searching, and the monster is probably extra hard to find because they left the fog machine on the Grand Banks setting.
Squad number 2. Squad number 2.
Squad number 2 here. Haven't sighted anything yet, Sheriff.
Luckily for them, the monster saves them the headache of hunting it and attacks. But that's his mistake, because barbecued squid steaks are on the menu tonight.
Look out behind you!
I guess they couldn't afford a cool monster because they blew the entire budget on flamethrowers. And really, I can't blame them. I'd have made the same choice. And with that taken care of, Sopkiw heads off for a well-deserved vacation.
I'm finally getting my vacation.
Where are we going?
To the mountains.
Oh, Sopkiw, you so crazy. In the pantheon of terrible Italian Jaws clones, Devilfish is pretty bad. First off, it's not even really about a shark. Second, how can you call a movie Devilfish or Monster Shark and never really show us a devilfish or a monster shark? Considering the talent involved, Devilfish is really a letdown. Bava, Sacchetti, Cozzi, Martino, and Clerici, and this is the best they could do? And they wasted Michael Sopkiw. The Sop only made 4 movies in his career, and this was one of them. Tragic. But enough about that. Can Devilfish serve up 5 barf bags of crispy cephalopod? Let's go to the gore card. In terms of gross anatomy, Devilfish is pretty light. We're treated to some half-hearted devilfish devourings, death by hairdryer, a woman shot in the back, and a decapitation. The kills aren't particularly gory or inventive, but Devilfish does just enough to eke out a very generous 2 barf bag rating. I'm gonna regret giving this a 2. Hell, I already do. Looking for another Italian Jaws ripoff that's so bad it's great? Then be sure to check out my review of Cruel Jaws. You'll find a link here on the screen during my outtakes. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters. We're moving again. In this scene, Carlito's Way era yeah, remember him as he was, in one piece, with all of his blah. And like a moron, Jacques Clouseau panics. And like a moron, Jacques Clouseau blah. Then we jump into this scene, which feels like a music video montage from an unaired episode blah. Considering the talent involved, Devilfish is really a letdown. Considering the talent... With Squidward under the boat, Bob grabs the gun. Be very quiet. I'm hunting... But enough about that. Can Devilfish serve up 5 barf bags of crispy... I knew crispy cephalopod was going to be a challenge when I wrote it, but I left it in there anyway. The kills aren't particularly gory or inventive, but Devilfish does just enough to take out... Come on, big boy. Get it together. You're at the end. Let's finish strong. Finish strong.